because they're cheap.
What's up,
like
everybody?
The gateway drug still here. I'd say throw it on the Levante. Take that slow sink off.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Oliver and I here.
Bounce.
Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Green Room. And today we're gonna go back in time into a little bit more recent history. And we're gonna go back a couple seasons here, and you can probably tell the time frame just by what color sea deck I was running at the time. That's the original sea deck that I ordered for the Dream Machine. We're gonna walk you through here, or I'm gonna walk you through here, an early spring day. This is pre-spawn as we're coming up into that time of year. This is Northern California. This is a fishery that's capable of kicking out some high teen fish, but a really tough fishery at times, especially with the big bait. And I'm gonna walk you guys through this pretty unique scenario. Now at the time I was still testing some prototypes. This is actually the Defiant 247 swim bait, and at the time someone over there on that team had mislabeled or mismeasured and mislabeled it as a 232 because that's supposed to denote the length in millimeters. But it's the same size bait. It's always been 9 3/4 inches and 247 millimeters in length. And it's cool, man. I get to do some rad stuff like fish baits through the development process, and this is one of them. So I'm hugged up on a main lake point here, sitting right on the break on one side of it, and I make a long cast with this moderate sink 247, and I'm letting it sink to the bottom pretty much. Really I'm counting on a big fish that I had raised on a previous trip to be hunting and patrolling this area. And one thing that I've kind of learned, especially with the live scope technology in the past 13 months, is how much of these fish are actually moving around what I want to call like a small home range. And I suspect that's kind of what's going on here. Alright, I'm taking this big obtrusive lure, firing it out in the zone here, and we just switched up angles from my shoulder mount here. This is the same sequence. If you guys saw, I lathered it with Bass Dynasty attractant because that is a thing. I've caught numerous big fish on big soft bodied plastics, especially when you're fishing them slow and the water's colder. I'm pretty sure the water temp here is in the low 50s, which for us is pretty cold, and I don't really feel like it makes the fish bite so much as when they do make that commitment to eat it, they tend to just hold it and not spit it, and that comes into play here. And as you'll see, I make that long cast. I pretty much let the bait fall to the bottom, and this bait's really key for this style of fishing because it sits perfectly upright. Let me see. Actually, I do have one. So here's a 210, but as I'm messing with my graphs there, that bait is literally just sitting there on the bottom, and you see me kind of pick up the slack, and just from those small movements in my rod, that bait's probably doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but for the most part I haven't really turned the handle. And I was having issues with my settings on my graph this day, and I was dialing in my settings to get them to display the way I wanted to. But one thing I've learned is as long as you've got a line in the water and you've got a bait that fishes effectively, you've got a shot. See there, I'm popping the bait and popping the bait. Oh, sorry about that. And so that bait has kind of done a little bit of this. I could kind of feel it on the front side of a rock, which is why I did that. So it's kind of pivoting there, and I'm picking it up, and that bait's actually doing a lot, even though it's doing what we would perceive normally as nothing. It's dead sticking, and it is so effective. But the problem is you got to know they're there. Okay, so like I stand up, and I'm like, oh, okay, am I still on that rock? And I realize it's a pressure bite, and a fish has had it. And even though I had my line tight the whole time, I actually never felt that telltale thump, that typical soft bait jig style bite. And going back to pan fishing, man, that's why I do so much pan fish content on the Big Bass Dreams channel. It's important to recognize bites that aren't obvious bites. Look at this. This is the first good fish of this season, I think. I'm pretty sure we put this on the scale, but I was pumped, man. It was cold. We had gone through a few days of not succeeding on some of these big fish. I'm demonstrating the line through concept, which is so important. You saw that fish come up, big head shakes, and that's when a lot of fish that I used to hook on similar style baits, namely the Huddleston and the Baitsmith, would come off, especially if they got to clear the water. Like that was a nightmare a lot of times. So now that bait disengages from that hook system, like my landing ratio and percentage has skyrocketed. I literally can't remember the last time I actually lost a largemouth bass on a 210 or a 247. As long as you actually make contact with the hook points.
Oh, that was so sick.
Look at this beautiful fish, man. My boy Brett's pumped too. Shout out to Brett.
Turn off that bilge front.
Hope you're good, homie.
Oh,
but beautiful fish, pre-spawn, big female.
That right there is
I don't remember what that one measured, but it was 9 pounds, so you're looking at like 23 to 24 pounds. And as you see in the footage here, man, like we don't hang baits. We get those shots in the moment. That fish is tired from battling, so they don't tend to flop around as much. The sea deck is really nice on their coating, especially when it's wet. Just a really cool moment. And there's a lot goes into these fish catches here. And here we're gonna actually weigh her, and I really highly recommend using a weigh bag, but for whatever reason sometimes there isn't one in my boat, as in this case. We use that Salter Brecknell scale. You can see it's zeroed out there. And don't like punching holes in the lips of these fish, so we'll hang them by the outside gill cover. That's the operculum. So you notice I actually take my time and make sure I don't actually get that hook inside the rakers itself, just on that outer gill plate. And it's a nice 9-1, 9 pounds, whatever.
And this is why you don't
really good
ever
fish.
just call it a double digit without putting it on the scale.
I used to be angry at those fish,
9-1.
but I've really learned to appreciate every fish that eats a big bait, especially. It's just a beautiful specimen, man. And I'm hoping you guys find insight into some of these sequences through this green room series. And hopefully it pans out and really starts to affect your fishing in a positive fashion. I appreciate you guys for subscribing to my new channel here. Leave a comment below. Make sure you turn on the notifications. Still stay tuned to the Big Bass Dreams channel. There's plenty of content coming on that platform, but a lot more content creators besides myself will be featured there. But in the meantime, look forward to more of the green room here on my new personal YouTube channel. Look at that big beautiful fish, man. That's probably a 24-inch fish, maybe 23.5 or so, with that kind of frame. That that pretty much equates to a 9-pounder, depending on their density and what they ate possibly. But I'm gonna go into depth for my Patreon members here on the green room. So guys that are subscribed to my Patreon, big shout out to you guys. Look for a follow-up video with some more insight that is going to affect your fishing in an even more profound way. So dope. Gosh, man, nothing like a big bait bite. And understand that all the fundamentals that we talk about and we shoot and we show you guys, it leads to these moments. These are like big time game winning moments. And my man D-Rock is actually here. We're gonna do some fishing, so I'll catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you later. This is Oliver Nye. Appreciate you guys. Peace.
Chair for her, turn on the air for her, and just cool out and listen to her. Sitting on bone, wishing that I could do eventually. If it was meant to be, it would be. We related physically, mentally. She was fun then. I be geek when she come around. Slim was fresh, Joe, when she was underground. Original, pure, untampered down sister. Everybody, I miss her. Yes, yes, y'all, and you don't stop. To the beach, y'all, and you don't stop. Yeah.